left off last time, we went through a basic vinyasa flow and a couple of warrior postures. So I want to return back to the middle of your vinyasa flow and coming into the downward facing dog. So we'll start there. So that's that sort of upside down V shape with your body. So I said in my last video, and I'll say it again over and over, your legs never actually have to go straight in a down dog. They can stay bent. Your heels never have to touch the ground. Oftentimes we feel like we have to straighten the legs or we have to put the heels down because the neighbor on the mat next to us is doing so. Well, the idea is to feel a stretch in your hamstrings, and if you're feeling that with bent legs, then you are absolutely fine. So my hands are just slightly turned out, and I'm going to press into the front part of my palms so that I'm pressing all of my weight back into my hips. And of course, it's not all of my weight, but I'm pushing away so that I can really get a lot of my weight back in my hips and out of my wrists and out of my shoulders. I don't want to dump into my wrists or shoulders. So then oftentimes in a vinyasa class, you'll hear the teacher then say, all right, now reach your right leg back, no problem, and then step your right foot forward. Oh, how do I get it up there? Well, for some people, no problem. But for most people, it's a problem because of strength and flexibility. So here's some ways you can try to get there. Come high on the ball of that opposite foot, so my left foot. So I've got some space, and I use my core to drive my knee up into my chest. Now, if I need, I can absolutely even put my tippy toe down and or just grab that ankle and help myself step it forward. It's fine. You're there then. Doesn't matter. Eventually, maybe you won't need the assist, but you'll teach your muscles to move through that particular range of motion the more often you actually do it. So again, reach, I'm high on the ball of this left foot, and then I drive that knee to the chest, and then I can step it through by grabbing the ankle. Other options, maybe I actually just put this knee down and step this foot forward. If we're not worried about being perfect, we're not worrying about comparing ourselves to others, then who cares? We got the foot there. All right, so the foot is forward. That's a couple of ways you can get there. Now there is another way. You can put your hands on blocks. So if I were in this down dog position, and maybe my hands are on blocks in this down dog position, maybe not. But maybe after I'm ready to reach, I now have more space to step through. It's so much easier. So maybe try blocks. Just make sure they're stuck to your mat. You're using a sticky mat and blocks that aren't going to slip on you. So again, in review, don't worry about how straight your legs are or are not. On your inhale, you reach long. On your exhale, you drive the knee forward, high on the ball of the opposite foot. Maybe I catch my foot and help my foot forward. Maybe I'm on top of blocks here, and I inhale, and then I'm high on the ball of the foot to step through. And then, of course, from there, we do our warrior postures, and this one is our Crescent Lunge. So I've got a deep bend in my right knee, and my body's actually just slightly hinged forward. I'm not trying to do a back bend here. I've got a slight hinge forward. So a lot of my weight is on this front leg. And if I hinge a little forward, believe it or not, it's going to make my knee happier. And then we can do all kinds of things like reaching the arms back and coming forward. Sometimes we do some rotation and those types of things. My back heel is lifted and my front knee is deeply bent. Knee and toe, same direction. I'm going to make sure my knee's not falling in. Twisting my knee would not make my knee very happy. And again, we exhale. I'm just reviewing our vinyasa flow. So maybe I come to my knees and I slowly lower down and shoulders are rolled back. Belly lands last. I'll exhale completely, which helps me draw my belly in. And then I lift from the back of my head so that I'm lengthening through a back bend that is not just crunching into my low back. And I exhale, release. I could come through on all fours position to find my way back into down dog. And take a breath in and a breath out. Pressing into the front part of those palms. And then we go to the other side. So my left leg reaches. And for some people, as I've mentioned, easy, no problem, step through. That can often come through years of strength work and flexibility work. I wouldn't expect it on day one from pretty much anybody. So maybe, again, you catch your foot to help step it through. Or maybe even the opposite knee comes down and you step it through. And then you rise. And just a reminder, there is also that great option of using blocks. So I can reach back, breathing in. And then I have more space when I have my hands up off the floor. And then we rise into that crescent warrior. And again, I'm not arching back and just slightly hinged forward, which does help me keep those neutral curves in my spine. And again, as I mentioned in my last video, and I'll say it again, you'll know you're in the right place if you're able to take a deep breath. If your breath feels limited, you probably need to adjust something. On your exhale, coming down, all the third blocks, and then maybe it's a slow lower down with the shoulders rolling back, and your inhale, this is that baby cobra, and releasing down, and finding that down dog again. Maybe you come through the knees every time, and maybe not. So we'll go through this again. The breath in, the leg reaches up high on the ball of my opposite foot. And my exhale, I drive the knee up. This is going to help you develop the strength to do the step through. Absolutely fine to assist yourself. Inhaling the arms up. And remember, we have some options. We might hinge forward, reach back. Lots of places we can go with this. Rotation, open arm, maybe a reverse. And be careful with this one. It's more of a lengthen up and a bit of a rotation than it is a backward bend. And then we come down, of course, into our high plank. Now at this point, I might choose to do up dog instead of the baby cobra. Here's some ways you can do it. One is to actually lower all the way down, just like you did with your low cobra. Hands next to the ribs. And then to slither your way up into up dog. Now the only thing touching tops of my feet and my hands. Think of this more as a lengthening of the front side of the body than it is a crunching backwards or a bend backwards. I say crunch because it does often crunch into that low back. And then down dog, of course. Now, I don't recommend up dog for everybody. If it doesn't feel good in your body, I say don't do it. And when I say good in your body, like when you do it, there's no pain, so nothing sharp. And you'll know that it probably wasn't for you if when you stop, you feel worse. So if when you're done, it feels amazing, not just right after, but like the whole next day, then it probably is okay for you. If you feel worse, it may not be the right posture for you. That's my own opinion. Take it or leave it. So, there's another way to come into up dog. So I say the way that I just showed you, and I'll show you again, is one of the safest. So that's to pull yourself from the floor. And I say safest because less likely to injure the shoulders. So the next way, this is the more traditionally taught way, is to lower, not quite all the way down, and then you can roll over your toes or flip your toes over like I just did. And again, same position, shoulders fold back. I'm actually trying to pull, and I'm moving now, but it's kind of a thought of pulling myself forward. And then, of course, we go back into down dog. Now, if you do not have the strength to do push-ups, I don't know why you would think you had the strength to do chaturanga into up dog on the toes. So keep this in mind. You may want to be kind to your body, lower down, strengthen your shoulders and your triceps and your chest. Maybe eventually you won't need to bring the knees down. So you go down from the knees and then you can slither your way up into this up dog. That's the way I would recommend anybody try it in the very beginning. All right, so we're back to side number 2. Left leg reaches. I'm behind the ball of that opposite foot, giving myself some more space. Drive the knee in, core strength, and then step through. Remember, you can absolutely assist yourself. And then the inhale brings you up, and maybe an exhale brings the arms back. And an inhale, the arms reach, and maybe an exhale, open arm twist, and maybe a reach up, and a twist of it with the exhale. And then the hands come down, and then of course you have that choice. Maybe lower almost halfway, and then pull yourself up. If you find yourself dunking your head down, or rolling your shoulders forward, I say back it off. Build the strength in a safe way, and then you can always build yourself up. I wouldn't have you walk into my gym and say, it's your first day. Go grab the 100-pound dumbbells. I'd say, it's your first day. Let's start with some 10-pound dumbbells, and then 12 and 15 and 20, and maybe someday 100 pounds. Think of your lowering down is about half of your body weight, maybe even a little bit more. Are you able to do a chest press with 50, 60, 70, 100 pounds on the first day? Probably not most of us. So this is a chest press with my body. If I don't have the strength to press about half of my body weight, I probably need to give myself an assist. So again, I might slither my way up into that up dog, and then maybe I actually put my knees down to transition back into downward facing dog. I'm going to go through that one more time, so join me if you'd like. Reach the right leg. Exhale, drive the knee up and in. Maybe grab it to step it. Your inhale brings you up. So think of the inhales as the expansion. The exhales as the contraction. So come forward and reach back. And then I inhale and expand. And then I exhale and rotate to contract a bit through my core. And then I inhale to lengthen again. And then maybe I exhale to rotate a bit more to the right. And then my exhale brings me closer to the earth. I contract down. I'm going to bring my knees down and exhale to the earth. And then then your inhale, you lengthen. Left leg. Exhale, drive the knee up and forward. Your inhale brings you up. Again, I'm just ever so slightly hinged forward. I'm not bending backwards. Now I come all the way forward. Exhale. Inhale, expand. Exhale, twist and contract. Inhale, expand. Exhale, maybe a little more rotation. And my exhale again comes down to the ground. And then again, I lower. And maybe baby cobra is really what serves me best. Lifting from the back of my head. And release, maybe bring the forehead down. And take a belly breath. And an exhale. Okay. I have one more posture to show you today, and that is chair pose. So chair pose with a twist. So chair pose, think of it as sitting in a chair. It's called Utkatasana, but chair pose, just as easy to say, or easier. So feet can be together. They can be slightly separate. Now, if they are together, I recommend toes touching and heels slightly separate, and that's going to help your knees be happier when you do take a squat. What will make most people's knees happier? A little bit more space. So listen to your body. So squatting down, knees and toes point the same direction. If my feet are together, sometimes my knees will do that. They'll do funky things. So it's a pretty narrow stance, whether they're touching or not, but the knees and the toes do point the same direction. And then traditional Utkatasana arms are up here. And my weight is pretty evenly distributed, but I'm kind of putting a little more weight in my heels, and that helps keep a little bit of pressure off of my knees. Now, if I'm straining in my neck, I might take more like cactus arms with my arms. And then eventually I might be able to reach my arms up. Maybe never. And it's fine. Maybe the arms are a little wider. You can always play with it and you start to tense up. Maybe you need to take it to something more comfortable in your body. Doesn't mean you don't challenge yourself, but if your goal is to work hard and see some relaxation happening in the body, try not to tense up in all of these postures. So then, hands to heart center, and I like open arm twist. So my left arm is going to go forward, my right arm is going to go back. This feels great in my spine. I'm thinking of rotating from my thoracic side. So a lot of times there's a recommendation to twist from the low back. I don't recommend that. The low back is intended to be a stable part of your spine. I'm going to twist the other way now. From my middle back. So my right arm is forward and my left arm is back. And then I'll come back to center. I'll stand up and I'll reach up. And remember Tadasana in the body. So stacking the joints, neutral curves. So not here. Keep the hips slightly back. Chest lifts, ribs tuck just a little. Crown of the head reaching. All right, now return back to chair pose. And I'm going to take a chair twist now. I'm going to bring my elbows to the outside of my thigh. So I'm going to bring not just my elbow, but my ideal is to bring closer to my armpit. And then I twist. Now, you'll notice I will never cue to line up your knees. So if I ask you to keep your knees in one straight line, where the cranking and the twisting happens is right in this lumbar again. which is supposed to be a stable area. So we don't want to crank into a twist on the low back. We want, again, for it to come from your middle back. So don't worry if your knees shift a bit. It's fine. Now you don't intentionally shift them to get more movement, but if they shift a bit, it's fine. And I'm exhaling and thinking of my ribs rotating. And we'll come back to center. Take a breath in, return to your chair pose. And again, I'm going to twist, but thinking of the back of my arm and even armpit coming to the thigh, and then rotating from my rib cage. Taking breaths in, exhaling, maybe moving a bit deeper, and then coming back to center and reaching up. So if at any time a teacher calls for that rotation and your back isn't happy, I recommend the open arm twist version. Right here is a great option. If you happen to be pregnant, you probably already know this, but definitely do the open arm version. And notice my knees are not staying perfectly in line. I'm rotating here through my ribs. Inhale up, and we'll take your Tadasana once again. All right, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Thank you so much.